Ner Shabbos, everybody. Welcome to Jerry's Parsha Ponderings for Parshiot Vayakhel, Pikudei, and Parshat HaChodesh. Recording this week from Attleboro, Mass. On my travels. So thank you all for joining me. Quick little video this week. Last week we discussed the Egel HaZahav and how the whole concept of Amalek is the where is God, and how we learned so much from Parshat Kitisa, the whole idea of V'ra'ita et achorai ufanai lo yera'u, the whole concept of we don't necessarily see Hashem's hand when something is going amiss, yet we learn that at the end, whether it's the end after 120 years or when we come out from the difficult period, that we know that Hashem was always in control. And we see Parshat Vayakhel Pikudei, Parshiot Vayakhel Pikudei, they sometimes fall Parshat HaChodesh, but it does happen quite a bit. And it's no coincidence. As we know, there is no such thing as coincidence. So the Bnei Yisrael sinned terribly with the Egel HaZahav. They did something they should not have done. And of course, they want to make amends for this. And they shortly thereafter began the whole process of building the Mishkan, and as we know, Ein Mukdam U'Muchar B'Torah. Things don't necessarily in the Torah happen chronologically, but in this case, the Egel preceded the building of the Beit HaMikdash, or in this case, the Mishkan, and we saw that the people, let's say, overdid it. They did so much. They brought so much gold and contributions from their own wealth that Moshe actually had to tell the people, okay, it's enough. They did more than even necessary. Why does the Torah tell us this? Also, why does the Torah go over the whole Truma Tetzaveh and Vayakhel Pikudei? It's like, again, remember, the Torah doesn't waste real estate, so there's a very important lesson being told to us here. And we see that the Bnei Yisrael were so upset because of the whole Egel HaZahav incident that they doubted Hashem, that they went overboard in their tshuva, and they're saying, if this is what we did, this is how we sinned, we have to do that much more to show that Hashem is in control, that we believe that Hashem is in control, that we don't doubt, that we have bitachon, that we have emunah. And this is why the Torah says, yes, they were commanded to make the Aron, and they were commanded to make the Shulchan, and they were commanded to make the Yeriot, the roof of the Mishkan, and the Krashim, and they did it. And not only did they do it, they did it more even than necessary to show we have perfect faith in Hashem. And we realize what a terrible aveira we did, what a terrible mistake we made by doubting that Hashem was with us. Because we saw that the whole concept of doubt, the whole concept of I'm not sure, that where is God, where is your God now, is the ultimate chilul Hashem. And they wanted to go over and above in the building of the Mishkan so that they could make amends for the mistakes that they made with the Egel in particular. And in general, the whole, why did God bring us out of Egypt, that we should die in the Midbar, that whole doubting of Hashem, they were trying to make amends for that. But it gets even more interesting. It's no accident, of course, as we always say, that the date of the completion of the Mishkan was Rosh Chodesh Nisan. It says it in so many words in Parshat Pikudei. Bayom HaChodesh Harishon, Be'echad LaChodesh, Takim et Mishkan Oel Moed. Right on Rosh Chodesh Nisan. What else do we read about this week, Rosh Chodesh Nisan? Well, none other than the Karban Pesach. Do you think that's a coincidence? Of course not. There is no coincidence. What did the Jews have to do with the Karban Pesach? They had to take a sheep, which was one of the Egyptian gods, small g, tie it to their bed so that it made an awful lot of noise, leave it there for 3 days, then take it out on Erev Pesach and barbecue that puppy, right? Rather, they didn't take it on Rosh Chodesh Nisan. The command was given, and they took it on the 10th of Nisan, right? And they had to barbecue it in the middle of the street, take the blood, and put it on the doorpost to say, yes, we slaughtered your god, small g, and we barbecued it in the middle of the street. Talk about having to have faith in God, large G. You had to literally offend the Mitzrayim, your captors. They were your captors for hundreds of years, and show that we're not afraid of you anymore. We only fear HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We only listen to God. And we are going to take your Avodah Zarah and slaughter it right in front of you. If that isn't the ultimate test of faith, I really don't know what is. A slave nation that were terrified of the Egyptians for... The people that were there didn't know what it was like not to be afraid of the Egyptians. They were born into slavery. And yet they had to show this level of faith. And this is why the building of the completion of the Mishkan and Parshat HaChodesh coincide. Because after the ultimate show of lack of faith, that being the Egel HaZahav, they went ahead and took that same Zahav, took the gold, and they used it for glorifying Hashem. And the Karban Pesach again was done to glorify Hashem by slaughtering the false god, small g, of the Egyptians, befar Hesia, out in public. And we see that, again, there are no coincidences. Another thing that comes up in this week's Parsha, Lo savaru eish b'chol moshvotechem b'yom haShabbat. In the beginning of Parshat Vayakhel, again, the Shabbat is mentioned. So we have Parshat HaChodesh this week, where we learn about the bringing of the Karban Pesach on the 10th of Nisan, taking it on the 10th of Nisan and bringing it on Erev Pesach, the ultimate show of faith. This week's Parsha, on Shabbat, Shabbat hi makar habracha, Ein Yisrael nigalan ela b'zchut haShabbos. We are redeemed from slavery and from galut, specifically because we keep Shabbos. Make it a beautiful one this week. Thank you for joining us. Shabbat Shalom, a Guten Shabbos, and a Guten Chodesh, Chodesh Nisan. It should truly be a month of rebirth. May we be rid of this coronavirus once and for all. Everybody should get vaccinated, and we'll be able to go back to some semblance of normal life. A Guten Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining us.